Hi, everybody. Sherry Sicard, aka Cannabis Cheri here, and I'm joined today by Mitch Mandell, Cannabis Cheri's grow editor. And we're here today to talk about why Mitch likes hydroponics so much
Yeah.
and growing hydroponically so much. Before we do that, though, I just want to remind everybody hit that YouTube subscribe button and notification bell because we try to upload new videos every Wednesday. And please do us a huge favor, hit that like button too if you get value out of our videos because it helps us be seen in YouTube's algorithms.
That's right.
Okay, Mitch, I have known you for decades. Yes, we are old. And
We are old
you
friends.
we are old friends and we are old. Oh geez, that sounds so much more
Yeah, we're
appealing,
OG.
right? We're OG. But you have been growing hydroponically for decades. I mean, even
Yes,
long before hydroponic growing was on most people's radar.
right.
I have known you to grow it, and you've always been a fan and a proponent of hydroponics. So we've gotten a few questions too from some of our viewers who have heard you talk about it. Why is it that you like hydroponics so much?
Well, I remember when I first heard about hydroponics, I heard that you can grow in a without soil, without dirt, which I thought, okay, that's crazy. It's impossible to grow a plant without dirt. Everybody knows that. I mean, come on, how stupid is that? And also you can grow in a very small pot and get a full-size plant out of it, uh, from a very small pot. And I thought, okay, that's crazy too. But I thought, okay, it's crazy, but I want to look into this because I really want to see if it's real. I didn't think it was real. So I found a local hydroponic shop in Los Angeles, and at the time there weren't that many. And nowadays you can't go anywhere without seeing a hydroponic shop somewhere. They're all over the place, not quite as ubiquitous as Starbucks, but still there's a lot of hydroponic shops out there. So for those of you who want to get into hydroponics, it's fairly easy to these days.
Yeah, but it
So
wasn't
so
then. I mean,
no, it was
you
pretty.
made your own system. I remember out of recycled bottles and
Exactly.
PVC pipes and plastic storage bins and
Yeah, being a poor student at the time, I went into the shop and I bought a little booklet and I talked to the people that worked there and pretty much got the lowdown on what to do. I did have to buy nutrients, but I was able to build my own system with out of soda bottles and PVC pipes and plastic buckets, and it worked really well, as you know.
yes, it did.
Yeah, so it worked well for I got really two great crops out of it, and I thought, okay, I'm an expert at this, and then I, and then I grew another crop, and everything died.
Uh,
So well,
but that was the only time that happened, if I recall.
right. That was part of the trail to becoming an expert is you gotta lose one before you can become an expert. So
So why did you lose that crop out of curiosity? What happened?
that was a pH problem. And if you're not checking
Uh,
your pH regularly and your pH goes too high or too low, the nutrients that you've mixed together are going to get locked out from the roots. The roots aren't going to uptake the nutrients, the proper nutrients that you need, because the water, the pH of the water needs to be pretty perfect in order for it to open the pores of the roots and to for the nutrients to go in.
right. And that is one difference people need to be aware of. I think with hydroponics, it's a little more sensitive to pH. You
It
really need
is.
to monitor that every day. I mean, it's not difficult, but you do have to pay attention to it a little more than you do with soil, which has that buffer in there.
It's like a race car. It's very sensitive to everything. Well, in a race car, when you turn the wheel just a little bit, it turns a lot.
Mm,
Or when
yeah.
you step on the gas a little bit, it goes a lot. It's like growing on steroids. It's very powerful. So you've got to be careful with every detail. But once you know what you're doing, it's a fairly easy grow. Your plants will grow faster and grow bigger. So that's what drew me to it. I was always wanting to, grow bigger, grow faster. I don't want to wait around as long. And hydroponics it was a great solution for me, and it hit all of the buttons that I wanted it to hit.
And I think it's also advantageous for people that are in like an apartment.
Right.
At the time, you lived in an apartment, really didn't have an outdoor space.
No,
Even on the balcony, there was no light there.
no,
I
the
wouldn't
the
know.
balcony faced east. So we didn't get any southern sunlight. It was in shade all day long. Once the grow was done, where am I going to dump all the dirt? What are we going to do with the
Right.
dirt? Because we're living in a concrete jungle. And so hydroponics was really the way to go. It keeps the space cleaner. You're not tracking dirt into your house. And fertilizers, all the fertilizers are liquids that you use for hydroponics, and so they're easy to mix. And it just seemed to me a better solution based upon the circumstances I had at the time. And I grew to love it so much that I kept on doing it. I've grown in soil as well, but I still like going back to the hydroponics when I can.
Now, there's two different ways of growing hydroponically. I wanted to touch on that too, because uh, now in the old days you had to build that system
Right,
yourself. Today you can just purchase a whole hydroponic kit that has everything you need in it. We've talked about the Bud Grower kits in the
right,
past, and I'll put a link below to that in the comments to our review where we talked about the Bud Grower hydroponic kit. And I think we've also talked about the advantages and disadvantages of hydro over soil grows.
right,
But now the Bud Grower kit is great. It's small, for one person or one plant,
right.
two plants. That's a deep water culture,
Exactly.
right?
It's a deep water culture system, and it fits nicely in a 2x4 tent, which is what the Bud Grower sells. It's really a perfect system for a small grow. Also, deep water culture is probably the easiest way to get your feet wet, haha, so to speak, uh, for growing hydroponically, because there's not a lot of mechanisms involved. It's basically
Right.
it's a bucket with water and an air stone, and
So
the air
with
stone,
this,
yeah, the air stone is used to keep the roots oxygenated, which is very important when growing hydroponically.
right. But otherwise, those roots stay submerged in the water the whole
Right.
time. Yeah.
But the
So
but the
the
bud
other
but
way,
I have
okay,
one
go ahead.
question. Now, the Bud Grower kit though does come with everything they need in order to grow. There,
Absolutely everything
yeah,
except for the clone or the seed. Yeah.
except for the clone or the seed. So there's nothing else you need to buy if you get the Bud Grower kit if you're for a first time grower.
Yeah, so that's a great way to get into
Yeah.
hydroponics. Now I know you have another grow kit that you're just checking out now. We're going to be talking about more about it in the future, but it's a different method than deep water culture. This is
Right.
an ebb and flow method. So talk to us
Right.
about that.
Right. The deep water culture system, as I mentioned before, as we mentioned before, is the roots are submerged in oxygenated water 24/7 all the time. With the ebb and flow system, it is basically it is what it says. The water flows in and you get all the nutrients that the roots need, and then then the water ebbs out, and then the roots are getting the oxygen that they need because they're just hanging in air at that point. And
Okay.
then it's on a schedule, and the water flows in, and the roots get the nutrients, and then it ebbs out, and the roots get the oxygen. So a lot of professionals use an ebb and flow system versus a deep water, because the deep water is great for the amateur at home, but for people more serious, the ebb and flow system is really the way to go.
Okay. Well,
And
I want to
this
put links to both kits below. So what is the ebb and flow kit that you're checking out?
The ebb and flow kit is from GrowAce, and it's a 6 pot system, and
Uh-huh.
it's modular, so you can start with one and grow to six and actually grow up to 36 pots if you want.
Wow.
Um, if you really want to if you really want to grow for the neighborhood,
Now
which
I'm going to put in
I
the caveat, you probably can't legally grow 36 plants wherever
right.
you're at, but yeah, no judgment on that.
No judgment on that. So the people at GrowAce have sent us a kit, sent us their system that is a 6 pot system, and I'm probably going to only use 3 of the pots because growing indoors in a smaller size tent, and I want to see how the modular system works. So I'm really
Okay.
excited to try out that Grow A system and eventually show our readers, our viewers, how it works. Here we're kind of previewing what we're getting.
Okay.
In a few weeks or a month, we're going to show how to put the system together, and then after that, we're going to show actually how you grow in the system in the Grow
Oh,
A system.
that'll be exciting. And I
Yeah,
know for you, it'll be going back to your roots of hydroponics.
roots.
P- Pun intended.
Getting my feet
Okay.
wet with my roots.
All right. Oh. All right. We better get out of here before we
Yeah.
alienate everybody in our audience.
Oh,
But
the pun police are after us.
right. Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts. Anything else you want to say about growing hydroponically? Because I know we're going to
No,
do a
it's
separate video on the grow
yeah.
ways. So
I've always loved it. I'm a water person. I've always loved playing in the water and getting my hands wet instead of getting them dirty. So it's really a great system. Hydroponics, there's nothing like it. It's growing on
okay.
steroids.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts, and we will see you all next time.
Bye bye.